yourself, what do you think is something that people cannot tell just by looking at you?
They probably can't tell that I know how to fight.
Yeah.
That I know martial arts and I'm pretty good at it. Not bragging, but I know.
No, brag.
I actually was on masterclass last night,
Mhm.
and normally I watch like stuff to help you learn, you know? But I was like, I need to watch something about food because I need to inspire myself to start cooking. So I was watching this thing about how they were making ravioli. So I bought a pasta maker this morning because I'm going to try to do some home cooking.
Oh, fun.
Ordering food all the time is not good for your health, and it's not good for your bank account.
Fair enough, but yeah, I think the second knock, like the second big knock on the door was when I was like, should I quit my job? And it took me a long time to say yes, but I like really reflected on this fact that like that knock came when I was in college and I didn't open that door, and I like don't think I realized how much it affected me. Like I don't want to use the word depressed like lightly, but I do think it like weighed down on me, this feeling that like, oh, I don't have any control over my life. I just have to do exactly the path that's set out for me or what I think is the right thing to do. And I think when I finally freed myself from that idea, that's when I was able to finally just like be more open to taking risks and to different possibilities.
It's a very important question right now. If you could build your dream taco, what would be in that taco?
Cheese.
Just cheese?
As much cheese as possible is what I tell every place that I ever get a burrito, a quesadilla, or a taco from. I ask them to put as much as they're allowed to. And then when they stop, I ask, can I get a little more? And just so much cheese. I would die if I were not lactose tolerant.
Oh, no.
I would, no, probably quite literally, considering how much cheese I eat.
Preferred taco to eat.
Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
I know.
Yeah, so I like soft shell tacos because they don't stab me in the mouth. So we'll start there. I like probably either chorizo or Beyond Beef. I've had some Beyond Beef ones that are very good, and they have a good texture. Probably, I may be mixing the lines between taco and burrito here, but black beans are great. Cheese is good. Lettuce is good. Tomatoes, if they're fresh, are good, but I don't usually trust a lot of places. I live in Washington. I don't trust a lot of places with Tex-Mex.
It's so cool.
It feels good, and it feels good to see people who are really good at doing things receive positive payback. I had an employee who's a younger person than I am. They were able to achieve a financial goal because of the work that we've worked on together. And like, that's really motivating for me because that helps change that person's life much more deeply than just like, oh, here's a few bucks for running a game. It's fun. Yeah. Their life is now changed. And that, as I get a little bit older, that to me is much more important than just like, let's entertain ourselves. Like, I always say, like, let's get somewhere when we have a conversation, when we do something. Let's move beyond just like, how's your day? Like, let's move somewhere.
Like, it's your guilty pleasure character.
Yeah. I would say there's so many ways to label this, but just like confused, like teenager to like man is like a classic where it's just like any situation. It's the very odd character that's just like kind of bumbling, not the smartest, but has good intentions. Like the dad crying over, what was it, the squash? Yeah, because the wife loved squash and just like I think there's always something so like truthfully funny about just an insanely odd and silly man that like I feel like everyone can watch and go, oh, he had good intentions but very bad execution.
Yeah. Based off that, I guess my last question is like, do you prefer taco or burrito?
Taco for fish, burrito for meat.
Oh.
Yeah. And then never chicken.
Never chicken. Me too.
What am I doing? What's going on? And I think that's the more that's actually reality more than like the multi-million-dollar 19-year-old influencer. Like that's cute and that does happen, but I hate to say that's not going to happen for the majority of us. So, most of us will still be like that person that's like, what am I doing? Or like, where am I going? Or what's the game plan? Like, where should I be going? And so I kind of, after talking like some of my friends, who some of them are older than me and some of them are the same age as me. And I think that we're all kind of like, yeah, we have these careers or we have these jobs or we're doing something, but like, this really isn't it. Like, what's the plan? Like, what am I going to do forever? Like, what's the goal? And so I think just having someone say that as opposed to constantly looking at like beautiful people on Instagram, it's refreshing. So I thought that'd be really great to have like a podcast about what's real life. Like this is real. I did not work out today, and yes, I ate pizza, and that's cool too.
If I didn't know you, if I just like saw you walking down the street, what's something that I cannot tell just by looking at you?
Let's see. Ooh, well, I don't know. That might not be true. I was going to say you probably couldn't tell that I used to be in the circus. However, I do have tattoos. So some people equate tattoos and circus. Although I really don't know why, because when I was in the circus, I was not permitted to have tattoos.
Yeah.
We had a family show. You weren't allowed to have tattoos. Now, I think it's a little bit more accepted. But I would probably guess that if you saw me walking down the street, you probably would not automatically assume, I bet that girl has been in a circus for many years. So I would say that.
Myself to try new things. And when I mean new things, I mean like guacamole. I mean like, I'm very boring. I have traveled the world and I will, like, my wife thinks I'm crazy because we went to Hong Kong and I went to a restaurant and I found a Mexican restaurant that served a chicken and cheese and sour cream burrito. Like just those 3 ingredients. I've done that around the world. And I mean, Zurich, Paris, great burritos. It's weird that I don't know any tacos in Florida, but if you want the best Swiss burrito, I can tell you where to get it. What was your question? Oh yeah, the sushi burrito.
I mean, I feel like I make art for myself. It's my way of, and I don't want to sound cliche, but like dealing through identity issues. I think that making my pieces and choosing the people that I choose and reading, it's a lot of reading, is a way of me like getting through what it is that I'm making. So seeing the way that other people react towards it is very healing.
That I played Dungeons and Dragons. I have been playing for like a decade.
You play Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh yeah, you don't know that too. Oh, I actually answered the question that you know me. You didn't even know that.
I'm so miffed. Okay. So now I have some follow-up questions about this because a part of our curriculum when we teach our students is we teach them Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
Yeah, so we use D&D for character building and environment.
Oh,
and
true.
world
If you're
creation.
doing like acting stuff, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so we do some D&D sessions for our classes for them to learn teamwork and through their character work as well. So, when did you start playing D&D?
It was around my senior year of high school. I saw some friends doing it. And I thought, what is that nerd stuff? Get that out of here. Because that's like, at that time, that was like omega nerd stuff. If you did that, people looked at you funny. But like, I was just watching them doing it. It just looked like a regular board game that they were just having fun. I'm like, why is this so stigmatized? It's just like a game. And so I tried it out and I liked it. It's just a fun game.
Nice.
I'm not a carb on carb guy.
Okay, all right, interesting. Would you go for like meats or fishes or veggie?
It depends on how I'm feeling because I like all 3.
Okay, sick. Nice.
I like all 3, and also, who's to say that you can't also put vegetables if you're putting fish in it or meat?
Very true. Spicy, mild, or plain?
Probably a mild, just because when you get older, you get acid reflux. I'd like to have the spicy stuff, but I just don't need that in my life right now.
Lettuce and onions, or lettuce or onions?
I would do lettuce and onions, but preferably onion, cilantro, and like a turnip or parsnip or something like that, thinly sliced. Yeah, I know, weird. Pickle actually is pretty good too. Continue.
Anyways, my brain just hurt a little bit.
How dare you?
How dare you? And I saw you walking down the street. What can't I tell just by looking at you?
You know what? I don't know. That's a very good question. Most of the time, if I am walking down the street, I am being pulled in two different directions like this with the dogs. So I probably come across completely disheveled, and yeah, I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess. So you would not know that I'm actually put together. I am an absolute disaster when I am walking. Yeah.
You are really put together though. You're very structured.
I try to be, but like if you were just to catch me like walking down the street. Now I'm going down the street. You said if you were down the street, right?
Yeah, if I was just like watching you walk down the street, what
Oh
can't
yeah,
I tell just by looking at you?
absolute disaster.
I think that's what improv is about. If you go in to be the star, I would recommend stand up or another form of solo performance. Not that you're a bad person if you don't like that. If you don't like that, as it doesn't mean you're a bad person. If you don't like helping and serving others and in being in service to other people on stage. If you don't like that, go do something else. But if that's something that appeals to you, definitely do improv.
I have a question about tacos for you. No way.
Wow.
So Angelica just did this with Anthony, and I got jealous that I didn't think of it first. I want you to do this now because I want to see how you do with this. So instead of asking you questions about how you would build your perfect taco,
Gotcha.
I want you to tell me your love letter to your favorite taco. In whatever style you wish.
Hard surface, like the shell of my taco. Actually, no. I like soft tacos, so this soft surface is fine. What am I doing? A love letter?
Is it a love letter? Tell me your love letter to your taco, your favorite taco.
Dear favorite taco, how are you? It's been so long. I miss your soft exterior and your meaty entrails. I hate this.
I love this.
Period. The way that the blend of white and cheddar cheese permeates throughout your supple frame is what some might call delicious, but what I call divine. But what makes me miss you more than anything in this world is the crisp, watery, and absolutely splendid lettuce that makes me feel less bad about eating you a taco. Furthermore, if you want to make things spicy, never fear. I will always love a little dollop of salsa. Till next we meet, my dearest meat and cheese and lettuce and salsa taco with a soft shell. I bid you adieu. Signed, yours truly, Never Crunchy.
We have that. Now you're on this deserted island, and suddenly there is something emerging from the water, and it just so happens to be that taco that you've created, the perfect taco that you want for the rest of your life. However, something happened to this taco, it's been mutated. What do you monster mutated taco emerging from the water?
What do I do to the taco?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd first probably run because I assume that if it's that big, they're probably top heavy and they're probably gonna get tired. So I try to run them down. Yeah, and then when they're really tired, then I'd probably trip them, and then just slowly, because you don't know how long you're gonna be there, I would slowly eat them and try to give them some jokes along the way, like, hey, I never seen a big foot like that, but hey, let's see how it tastes, and keep going there. So this way, as they're seeing their death slowly, but they're laughing their way to the grave. I think that's probably the best way to go.
I can't tell if that's cruel or kind. What is it?
Basically, it's an excuse for me to make time for the games that I want to play. If that makes sense. Because we're adults now. Our time is very few and far between. Our free time, I should say.
Yeah.
So that's, I try to stream at least once a week. So that's one block of time that I can just sit down and just kind of just run through whatever I want to do. And I'm going to do that regardless because I love playing video games. But being able to block out that time and also share it with my friends is just a great way for me to kind of have that restful period, I guess, after the long week,
Been shrunken down, like you're a tiny human person, but like tiny. And you have to create a house for survival. However, you're a tiny human. What do? Luckily, someone's tossed a taco out and it missed the garbage. How would you construct a house from that leftover taco?
Okay. Can I ask just one clarification question? Can I get a rough estimate for how tiny of a person I am? Like, am I like, in the palm of a hand tiny person? Or am I like,
like you're bigger than like a army ant.
Okay, gotcha. So what I'm gonna do, hopefully I have the strength to sort of flip the taco upside down. And so we've got sort of an A-frame open living situation going on. Yeah. And then, so I've got that for the structure. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use the ground beef or perhaps ground chicken or just chicken pieces. And I'm going to use that as my furniture, right? So if it's like little pieces of chicken, I've got like a couch, an arm table, perhaps a bed, perhaps a TV stand.
Wow.
Or if it's the ground, I'll just like, I'll use my small but strong hands to fashion.
Because when you shrink, your hands get incredibly strong. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I would probably use the cheese because sometimes that you can kind of see through the cheese. So I'm going to do like a stained glass, maybe effect on either side, right? So we have some light coming in. And then of course I'm going to use the lettuce for the bed. It's soft. It's soft and soft but crispy, which is not a trait I see in a lot of bedwear these days. And I think that that's something that we need to fix.
Definitely.
So,
yeah.
Oh, and then depending on what kind of taco it is, and depending on where like I am, if it's a nice dumpster or if it's a bad dumpster, I might use like a ring of onions to deter invaders.
Describe to me your favorite taco build, but as though you are also teaching me about tacos.
Okay. So you can either have a hard shell or a soft shell taco. But I'm going to argue here that the hard shell taco is the way to go today. So if you want, you can have your soft shell, but we're going to talk about the hard shell taco today. And you can put anything inside of that. You can do anything with that taco. Tacos can be anything. But we're going to talk about the fish taco. I love a fish taco. You put some of the taco, you got that like cilantro lime sauce on there, a little bit of lettuce and a little bit, that's all you need. And so you could put anything else you would like it, but myself, that is the taco that I like. I don't know if that was teaching you much about tacos, but
that was great.
So
the Falcon, how was that experience?
One of the best in my life. It was just absolutely thrilling. It was just, I remember my mother was in the audience, and she said, you did a good job, but you couldn't stop smiling. She's like, don't smile so much, because it was just in my heart. It was a joy. And I absolutely enjoyed performing the things that I learned in your class. And when I was on stage, I was just very happy. I remember the scenes were a game called Experts, where I pretended to be, somebody like a career. I think it was a dance instructor, and then I started dancing with you on stage, and I just had a time of my life.
Do you prefer your tacos spicy, mild, or plain?
Mild, for sure.
Mild. Okay. I've gotten this a lot, that people do not put rice in their tacos. Do you put rice in your taco?
No. Burrito, yes. Taco, no. Absolutely not. That's weird.
Now, what? What?
Not that I'm judgmental. It would be, let me rephrase that. That would be very weird for me. I don't like the texture of that. That's weird.
I always put rice in my tacos.
I know.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. And really, like, as far as I've had a lot more fun on the GM side of the screen as far as the character development goes, because I've poured many, many hours into specific regions of my world, and people are like, okay, what are the common types of folk that you would encounter in this part of the world? And then I'll be like, oh, I've been waiting for this, and then just rattle off the list and start having more and more in depth, and they start pulling in these ideas. I'm like, okay, that works for this part. Maybe you should try something different, unless you're looking to go a specific route. But then they just like coming up with ideas that, like, I'm like, I didn't ever thought that somebody with this piece of information in their background would be in this part of the world. That's really cool. That interacts in ways I can't tell you. So as much as I enjoy making characters and never getting to play them, just having that creative conversation with the players and seeing the character become more than just an idea and words on paper and into a real person.
Then just a couple hours later, did my homework and just, probably struggled with math, because that's what I struggled with the most. And by then, I was sitting down to dinner, and there were the hard taco shells, and then a mix of the meats and the cheeses and everything together, all together with just a delicious taco sauce to go onto it. And once you take that first bite, it's heaven, and there's nothing like a good old taco.
That was awesome. Awesome. Well, that you completely understand the law that you were practicing as well. You've been in their shoes. So I think that's also an additive, because especially like in theater, we say you should do everything. You should be involved in the production, the building, the design, everything in between, and then also be on stage, but understand the process so that you understand the work that goes behind it.
The entertainment business is still a street business, and it operates by street rules. There is no Securities and Exchange Commission that's going to come around, or the FDA, or any of these governmental regulations, or OSHA or anything. It's a street business, and it runs by street rules. And a lot of times, especially when you're a young artist, you're going to find people who are going to come in there and treat it like the street business that it is. They're going to come in with, sharp elbows and, shoves and pushes and everything else like that. and you have to be prepared to push back.
Describe to me your favorite taco in the form of a love letter, if you could.
Okay. Am I writing the letter to the taco?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Dear Taco, I'm reaching out to you just because I wanted to let you know how much you mean to me. I love going to Chipotle, asking for your crispy shells, asking for the white rice. And I also love how when I was younger, I used to have to ask specifically for the white rice from the back without cilantro. But as I've grown up, I've learned to appreciate you for all your quirks, and I love your cilantro now. I also want to just tell you that whenever I'm going through a vegan phase, you're there for me. When I'm not feeling so vegan, you're also there for me. You know, you don't judge me for the fact that I never put beans in you. You don't judge me for the fact that I tell them to put extra cheese and sour cream, even though I'm lactose intolerant. And you don't judge me for the fact that I never put salsa on you because it's too spicy for me, even if it's mild. And most importantly, I want to thank you for knowing that when you have guac, you are worth the extra charge, because you're worth everything to me. Sincerely, me.
That was beautiful. What are some tips that you would have for anyone who's starting out, whether it be improv, D&D, both, coding?
For improv, I'd say it is so important. The yes and the, take whatever your scene partner is giving you and run with it. It's so much better to build on to what your scene partner gave you than if you think you have a good idea. Like sometimes you're having a conversation, a group conversation, and you're holding on to a thought that you want to say. And even if it's kind of an awkward moment, you still try to put out that thought. In improv, I would say it's often a lot better to just, whatever your partner's rolling with, you add on to that. It makes the scenes so much better. With D&D, I guess, with D&D, it'd be kind of similar. You do have to give a little bit of pushback sometimes because, let's say if you're a dungeon master, you can't let the players do whatever they want. But it's similar to that, like try to go with the theme of whatever your group is doing and add on to the teamwork.
I hate it and hated it because there's a lot of anxiety in that. But like you've got to put yourself out there and say, hey, read this. Tell me what you think. And if you got people that around you that are going to give you good feedback, you kind of learn and grow from that. But at the same time, there are people that will look at something you've read and connect with it, and they'll really kind of appreciate what you've done. Not everybody, but somebody will. Yeah. And that's kind of like for me, that's kind of like, okay, I've connected with somebody through something I've written. That's kind of that special moment. Like even if it's just a couple people. Yeah. Like you've gotten a laugh from somebody, you've gotten
right.
Somebody's connected with something you've written, they're crying, and they've connected with the emotion that you're writing with.
Right, because the goal of every writer is to make someone cry.
Yes.
Ooh, lasers, there's sound effects, things are popping up
fireworks
from the screen.
Smoke,
yes, fog machine. So Caitlin, this is very important. We're going to since you're a Pokemon researcher, expert.
Oh boy. Oh no.
We're going to walk through a scenario, okay?
Okay.
So you're now entering the Pokemon world. And now as your little pixelated character, you're in the Pokemon world, and you hear something in the distance. You walk towards the sound, and it takes you towards tall grass.
Oh boy.
You
I'm
walk
ready.
into the tall grass, and something interesting. You smell like a taco-y smell. And you realize that this region is known for its taco Pokemon. So as you're in the tall grass, a Pokemon appears. What is this Pokemon's name?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Well, I literally had Taco Bell for dinner, so this is a perfect fit. Maybe Crunchy is his name because he's got a crunchy shell. Yeah.
Crunchy?
Crunchy. He's got a crunchy shell, not a soft taco. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. They have to protect themselves from attacks, so you need a bit of a shield.
So is the shield is a taco shell?
Yeah. Maybe a Crunchymon. That's his
A
name.
Crunchymon?
Yeah, Crunchymon is his name.
Crunchymon. Okay. So I was thinking that for this, because we are Talk About It Tuesday, you could tell us a monologue from the perspective of a taco, being as realistic as possible. And yes, this is totally improvised on the fly. I'm asking him to do a whole monologue.
Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Vincenzo, and I want to tell you something. I think tacos, they suck, right? Okay? I don't like tacos because we're from Italy. And I don't know if you know this, but this is a fun fact. This is actually a true story, okay? Tacos stole the idea from pizza, and they just made them flap over. That's why they have cheese on there, and they have sauce on there, but they use salsa. They try to put meat on there instead of pepperoni. But let me tell you something. I am not really a taco. I'm really a pizza designed to look like a taco, to let you know that you should always have pizza before having a taco, okay? Now do it now, huh? Forget about